everyone. Welcome back to another Art and Talk. I hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to talk about growing in real time and how we aren't who we used to be, and how that's a good thing, but also that is a really hard thing to come to terms with. This particular season of my life has been really hard. I have been being called out of hiding and just being put into leadership positions and being put into positions where I knew I was being prepared for them, but I never actually thought of myself being in those positions. And now that I'm being called to step into them, it's really, really hard. And I think one of the hardest parts about growing pains is that it's the worst when you're doing them alone. When you're growing with somebody, it's more endurable. Like even the book of Ecclesiastes says two is better than one because they can both endure, or like it's better to be two people to be cold than one person to be cold because two people, one can keep the other one warm, and different things like that. But it basically says all that to say it's good to have somebody by your side. And I think when we're going through very pivotal moments of our lives, or when we're going through times where we're really changing and stretching, we often start to lose people. It's hard to endure, and it's hard to stay with somebody when they're suffering. It's hard to endure, and it's hard to stay with somebody when they're growing. And I can definitely agree and say that, like, I understand that it can be hard to stick by somebody when they're growing because it's very messy and it's a big transition. But you'll find that a lot when you're going through growing pains, you're doing them alone. And it's very uncomfortable to see your life changing right before your eyes because there's a part of yourself that's hesitant, like, no, I want to keep this. No, I don't want to let go of this. No, I liked this part. This part of my old life was comfortable. And then there's another part of you that just can no longer tolerate what you used to be able to tolerate, can no longer think the way that you used to think, can no longer do the things that you used to do. And I'm in that season of my life right now, and it's like, it's so confusing because there's mindsets that I've had, and a particular mindset that has kept me safe for so many years is being pessimistic, like always thinking negatively, always thinking worst case scenario. And as crazy as it may sound, that mindset kept me safe for a decade, for 10 years. That mindset saves me. That mindset helped me. That mindset gave me discernment and wisdom. And although that mindset was great for me 10 years ago, or for the past 10 years, it's no longer serving me now. And I think it's so hard for my brain to make sense of that. My brain's like, but this kept you safe, but this helped you get out of this, but this helped you do to this, and this helped you expect this. And now I'm trying to rewire my brain to say, yes, being negative all the time helped me and saved me and protected me back then, but right now it's hindering me. And so this mindset that my brain has hardwired into itself for 10 years now has to be broken down and replaced with something completely foreign. And that is why growth is so uncomfortable. And sometimes the people that we're with or that we're around have seen and have been with us through that time where we had that negative habit, or through that time where we had that old way of thinking. So for them, us growing and us changing is hard too. If you've ever been around close family or friends, they always say you're changing up on us, you're acting different, you're acting like you're better than everybody. That I don't even take those things personally anymore, because that's basically them saying there's a version of you that's standing before me that I don't recognize. For 10 years, you were this way. Now all of a sudden you want to change. It's confusing, and it's definitely uncomfortable. And it's where everything you've ever known reveals itself, and it shows, like, this is what I really look like. This is what I've really been doing for you. And you start to realize that these things were never safe. These things were never actually protecting you, but they just gave you that illusion because back then you couldn't do that for yourself. And an example of this, an example of something that I'm growing out of that feels so, like, it feels like I'm going against myself is, I'm no longer able to tolerate inconsistency or people not being considerate. Like, I can no longer tolerate it, and the people pleaser in me wants to tolerate it. The people pleaser in me wants to be understanding and say, well, maybe they have this going on, or maybe they have that going on. But this new identity that God is establishing within me is telling me, you're worth more than this. You deserve to be around people who listen when you speak. You deserve to be around people who are consistent with you just as much as they're consistent with everybody else. You deserve to be around people who want to do the best for you, who want the best for you, who speak life into you. You deserve to be around people who hear your boundary the first time and respect it the first time. And I don't know, like, it's like my mind is changing overnight, and I'm just starting to realize, like, I cannot tolerate this. Like, this is way too much. And It's crazy because I started off with such a small mindset. I started off so small, so hidden, right? And now I find that as I'm progressing, things are becoming bigger, things are becoming greater. And it reminds me of the Bible verse from Job chapter 8. It's verse 7. And it says, "And though you started with a little, you will end with much." And in the process of ending with much, the more you get, the more responsibility that you have. When much is given, much is required. And whenever we hear that verse, we're always thinking about things. We're always thinking about materialistic things. But when much wisdom is given, much responsibility to govern and protect and to keep that wisdom safe is required, right? So like if God is establishing a new mindset within you, you have to protect it. If you're around certain people, for example, if God is teaching me how to steward my finances and he's teaching me every paycheck you're going to allocate to this saving account, this first home savings account, this, that, and tithes, and this, and this, and that, and he's teaching me how to properly allocate my funds and save, and I'm around somebody who is constantly careless with their money. I'm around somebody who just taps their card and who just buys things even when they can't afford it. I'm around someone who is just not stewarding their finances well. As much as God has given me this wisdom to do it for myself, sooner rather than later, I'm going to start to adopt those mindsets and those habits of the people around me. And I noticed this with a particular friend that I had. I was like, she has very bad financial habits, and I'm like, I'm not going to be anything like this. I can still hang out with her. I can still go shopping with her, but she can continue to have those bad financial habits. I'm not going to have them. And as I began to hang around her more and more and ignore the fact that her lack of wisdom in this area was affecting me, I started to notice like, I'm just tapping my card randomly, or when it was specifically whenever I went out with her, I would end up buying things that I totally didn't need, or I would end up spending money that I didn't budget for. And this is not to say that you can't spend money on things that you love and take care of yourself and treat yourself, but it's like there's a point where it gets too excessive and we're not being good stewards over what we have, and we're not prioritizing what we need to prioritize. But I found that old mindset of just spending and spending and spending was coming back because I was spending time with somebody who had not had the wisdom yet to know how to save, and I wasn't protecting the newfound wisdom that I had because I was too busy like hanging around her. And as much as we think that other people's mindsets and other people's habits and other people's ways of life is not going to rub off on us, it is, and it does in the most subtle ways ever. Like I promise you, it's so scary when you start to realize I said I would never be like that. I said I would never do that. And I'm just hanging around this person, and somehow I'm starting to get these tendencies. And so that's why growing pains are the worst, because you're going to be alone. You're going to need to isolate in certain seasons. You're going to need to cut off all the noise, cut off all the voices, and just listen to what you and God are saying. And it gets really, really uncomfortable because there's no other opinions. Everything is revealing itself. You have to be honest with yourself in that moment. And so growing in real time is not easy. And like it almost feels like you're abandoning yourself, right? Like me no longer being super pessimistic, or me no longer having the woe is me mentality. Like I feel like I'm abandoning my younger self. I'm like, this is what kept her safe. Like, why am I going against what we've planned for decades? And God's inviting us to think differently. God's inviting us to have a different outlook on our lives, to believe differently, to believe that good things can happen to us, to believe that something can start off as a bad thing, but his favor will make it a good thing. He's encouraging us and unctioning us to start believing again. And it is so hard when you've been disappointed back to back. It is so hard when things never panned out in your life. It is so hard when you've had to convince people that you were good enough to love. It's so hard to accept love that is free when you've had to pay for it all your life. And so I understand that when we're growing in real time, it feels like we're abandoning ourselves, like other people have abandoned us. It feels confusing. It feels murky. It feels like this very weird transition time. But it's in these moments where we learn the most about ourselves. And it's in these moments where we say yes to change, when we say yes to the pivot, when we say yes to accepting this new reality and this new identity we have, and telling our old reality and telling our old identity, thank you for keeping me safe when you did, but right now I'm elevating and I'm moving to different heights, and you were good back then, but you're not good right now. You were okay back then, but you're not good right now. That's like buying an item from the store, right? And in that moment, it hasn't passed its expiry date. It's good right now, but you've had it in your fridge and like, oh, I just really want to have this, and I had it and I don't want to throw it out, but it's like, it was good back then and it's not good for you right now. It was edible back then, but now it can give you severe food poisoning. So you either have to keep it and get the food poisoning because you don't want to let it go, or you have to let it go and believe that when you go to the store, you'll find something better. And so I encourage anybody who's healing their nervous system, who's going through the motions, to just stay steadfast. It is so hard to say. It's even harder to do, but eventually things have to pan out. Like, that's just kind of the way life is. Eventually things have to work out. Eventually things need to move in your favor. Eventually this will pass. But as we're in the midst of our growing pains, remember that you're not who you used to be, and that is a good thing. It's a hard thing, but it is a good thing. So thank you guys for listening to this Arden Talk. I hope you learned something. Let me know in the comments how you've been dealing with growing pains. If you kind of relate to some of the things that I talked about in this video, I would love to hear your opinions. And please join me next week for another Arden Talk.